I'd just like to say one thing. I think this is a historical moment for both of you gentlemen, regardless of your age and experience, and I think...
Historical.
I believe...
You're so optimistic.
I believe whatever information you and us exchange today is going to be very valuable into your future. I'm stopping being poetic now.
I'm here, guys, by the way.
Oh, Glenn, how are you?
Good.
We have Alex.
Is that Martin?
We have Alex on the line.
Hey, Alex. How you doing, buddy?
Hey.
So apparently Glen lives about an hour away from you, Alex.
Yep. Where?
So...
I'm in Sunnybank in Brisbane.
Oh, okay. Yep. Yeah, about now.
And for me, I meet myself. So tell me a little bit about these. Hold on.
Sorry, it's a dinner time in the States right now.
Yeah. So how did you first start noticing and videotaping these things?
The original sighting. That was the first time I ever saw or videotaped anything. So that was me just out there with my cat, and well, he spotted it, and so I just filmed it. Yeah, that was the original, and that was the first time I'd ever saw anything or videotaped anything.
Did you have a UFO sighting beforehand? And do these guys do they seem to come back to the same area over and over again?
I've never actually seen a UFO as far as I'd say that was a UFO. In some videos there's lights in the sky, but, you know, it could be a plane. So, I've never actually seen a UFO, but as far as them, they always come back in the same kind of area out the front here, or out the back here. Yeah.
Kind of makes you wonder what's there that, you know, they would be attracted to it.
I don't know, it's just bush, really. It's nothing. I walked all through there and down there, and there's two little dams, and that's it. I couldn't find anything different, but I found a big-ass car battery. So that was all.
Gotcha. You know, one of the things you might want to consider is getting, you know what a game cam is?
Like a trail cam you set up outside.
Yeah, hunters use it, and it's motion activated, and if something walks by it, it'll take a picture. And usually it takes a picture infrared, so they can't tell there's even a flash.
Who's that?
Holy crap, man.
I don't know what that is.
What's that, Stan? Yeah?
You're too loud.
What the hell? Is it a parade or what?
I'm actually in a room now that's got, I'm away from everything, but it's a bit echoey.
It's a parade music or something.
I wish I could turn down the microphone. Maybe I can. I'll try that. Give me a sec.
How many times have you seen or have you experienced these things altogether, would you say?
Look, 20 times, really, I've actually seen it on and filmed it and everything. A few odd times I've thought something was there, or had the feeling that something was there, but I never actually caught it on tape. I've had once or twice, I haven't seen anything, but I've had a power issue, power goes out. But I mean, that could have just been a standard blackout or brownout or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, the power thing is pretty typical.
Yeah.
So, you know, the question is, why are they there, and, you know, what are they doing? Are they interested in trying to figure you out, you know, and could there be somebody there yanking your chain, you know what I mean? That's one of the things that I always wonder about, the stuff that happens to me, especially the alien in the window video. You know, I saw the thing run away, but, you know, there still is that possibility that somebody could have been playing some kind of, I don't think so, but, you know, there's always that possibility. One of the videos, it looked like it was pointing a red laser pointer or something at you.
Yep. That seems to be what it has or has built before. It lit some things on fire with the thing. I'm pretty sure it's what turns the lights off. It's pointed that at the house, and then I've lost power within a second or two of that.
Yeah, I got.
Yep. So.
Alex, let me ask you a question.
Yep. Shoot.
Have you had any experts come and examine your evidence or interview you prior to that event?
I haven't had anyone here. I mean, I've talked to people just on YouTube and through emails, but I haven't actually had anyone here.
Just to let you know, I've been trying to get in touch with you for over a year. I've been trying to get in touch with a reporter in Tweed Hats that wrote a brief article about you on an internet website.
Yep.
But after she interviewed you, she got fired from the newspaper.
Is this the one at Tweed Daily News?
I believe so.
And she got fired, the one that came here.
Well, we never got hold of her, and our entire agency was trying to get in touch with her for months.
Huh.
She wouldn't talk to us.
No, I didn't know that, because she came out here after my first sighting, and she came out here and interviewed me, and I was front page of the paper. And then I had more sightings onwards, and she never contacted me again, but that did make sense if she got fired.
Are you having any investigators
No.
at your place that come and go and examine your stuff, or even try to capture anything on their camera?
Well, not that I've seen, or gave permission to. But no, I haven't had anyone out here actually looking at things or testing the ground or whatever. So, no.
Hey, Glenn, isn't there like a UFO organization kind of close to that area somewhere?
Well, we've got an Australian. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear.
Yeah, it sounds great.
Good. I'll turn the mic down a little bit. We've got a MUFON chapter here. I haven't been in touch with them, but I know there's one here in Australia. But apart from that, I'm not sure. I've been on the ground so little time since being in the States that I'm still trying to work out what the lay of the land here is. Do you know anything about what investigators are around here, Alex? Have you done any research in that area?
No, I don't really know what investigators are around. I bar a few people that have contacted me, but I don't know whether they actually are investigators or just randoms who want to come over here.
Right.
It's starting to be noisy again.
Well, that's one of the things you might want to consider, trying to connect with somebody up there. And it'll help your case. It'll help, give further evidence to support your case. And it's important because people need to know that there's other things out there. And keep collecting evidence. That's what you need to do. Keep collecting evidence. Yep. And I would start looking for physical evidence, not just video. Once these things, come and go out in the area and see if you can find footprints and start getting some plaster Paris and make casts of these footprints.
I've been thinking of trying to get some clay or something, but you need a truckload of clay to cover a decent amount here or something, so you could
I understand. Plaster Paris is actually fairly inexpensive, and I don't know if you guys have that out there in Australia, but you mix it with water and it creates a great cast of whatever.
Yep.
And it works really well. And all you need is just a few things, and I can.
And we even have electricity. We haven't.
I know, but your internet sucks.
Who's mine? Yeah.
I'm glad.
Alex, can I also ask you? I've seen all of your videos on YouTube, and in some of them videos, they're your parents. I would say your mother is in the videos.
Yep.
Has she experienced seeing things on her own?
Not that I know of. She hasn't told me that she's seen anything. Most of the time I'm here, and if she's not. But normally it's not when she's here and I'm not here. So, normally I'm here always. So I think they're more interested in me.
Can I ask you what your parents do?
My mum, nothing.
Okay.
So, yeah,
Do you
exciting.
have any siblings?
No.
Okay.
So it's just me.
So, it seems like you're in a remote area. It's not like you're in a conglomerate area where there's a lot of houses, right?
It's remote as far as the whole left side and front of my property. There's houses. I'm on the edge of houses, and all the neighbours that are there, it's all the back of their houses. I mean, I think the closest neighbour's 300 metres that way, but otherwise, if you go this way, it's a few k's. So it's remote compared to a standard house or anything like that.
Can you recall any strange activity before this event happened, which you were able to capture on camera?
No, I didn't see anything.
Which time?
The original, you mean? The first time.
So you believe it started all of a sudden?
Pretty much.
Alex, Glen here. Good on you just to you for getting a really good camera, by the way.
Yeah, it's a lot better, that one.
Can I...
Getting noisy again.
Yeah. I want to ask you a question. How are you dealing with all of this? Are you feeling, I mean, the thing that came across when Lisa first sent me the information was, when I started watching your videos, was just how completely freaked out you were. And it seems to me, my observation is that you've sort of got this push-pull thing happening, like you're freaked out by it, but you seem to be, I'm just trying to think how to put it. It's like you want to check things out, but then you get to a certain point and it's just too much. Would that be accurate?
Yeah.
That night that you just got in the car and drove away, it was like, you want to go and see what it is, but at a certain point it's just overwhelming. Would that be accurate?
Yeah, I mean, I want to get that good footage and the amazing stuff, but sometimes it's just not worth it. It's not worth being killed or something for that. So that's what I mean. Sometimes I just think, no, I got to leave.
Right.
This is, it's too much.
So that's a real fear. Like the night when you got pulled into the bushes, were you, was it, you just thought, I just can't stay here, I have to get out?
Yeah, that night. That was the most, scary thing ever that I've experienced. It's getting noisy again.
That was really scary to watch, I've got to tell you. That's me, Stan. I'm at McDonald's, remember?
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
Is it possible to get someone more quiet?
I'm at the quietest spot in the building, but I'm just trying to turn it down. It shouldn't be disappearing when I finish speaking.
Oh, yeah, that's fine.
So yeah, go ahead, Stan.
I was just wondering. So the question is, you have to ask yourself, why are they there? I mean, is it you? Are they trying to figure out what you're all about? Have you had experiences before? And if it's not you, then there's something about the area. Maybe it's some kind of electromagnetic thing. And it would be good to hook up with people, like Glen or like, anybody in general to help, figure that out. Because doing it by yourself, trust me, only works for a little bit amount of time, but then you're going to have to start trusting people to help you, and that's where the real power comes in. Because when you have other people collecting evidence and not just you, that opens up a whole new chapter in your experiences, because then you have supporting witnesses.
Yeah. Okay. I mean,
so that's something you might want to consider.
Have you had anybody helping you, Alex?
Well, no, and it's just me doing whatever. I mean, I'm pretty busy with the Polished Knob. Just replying to comments is a lot of work, and talking to people on Alien Site and stuff. So
yeah, that's how we got in touch with you, through Alien Site. His name is Disbelief. That's how I got in touch with you.
Yep.
I think his name is Ian. He's from Italy.
Okay.
Well, I think you need to get somebody who is willing to be there physically and help you out to, collect evidence.
Yep. I mean.
Yeah, Alex, Glen here.
Yep.
So you go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say, if I know they're a kind of a real qualified, like they're actually that kind of person, they're not full of shit. then I'd be willing to have someone here. But I mean, I don't just want heaps of randoms here who, walk out there and just have a look pretty much. So, I mean...
Yeah, Alex, this is Glen. The reason I offered you my support in my email is because I've only been back in this field about 7 months, and when I read Stan's book, I was driven to go and be with him, because I knew that it was true, and, I really get the trauma. My particular thing is that I want contact, and I'm not particularly an investigator per se. I'm not interested in running around collecting everybody's sightings of lights in the sky, but if you want moral support or you want someone there on the night, I mean, when I saw your videos, I thought, man, this poor guy, he needs someone who's really not going to freak out with him. And I think Stan can vouch for me. I'm not a random, and I'm not a person who's a hanger-on, but I'm really very passionate about this area. It's been basically a major life change for me over the last 6 months, because I've spent 20 years doing business full time, and basically this is my big passion now. So anything you need, if you I even said to myself, if he wants me to sleep over and be there when it happens, I'd even do that. But whatever you need.
Glen, and I trust Glen. I really do. Out of all the people I know, Glen is probably the biggest sweetheart. He's also, you got to understand, Glen is a marketing. He's a marketing guru. That's what he does. I mean, he's in upper management in what he does in his life, and he's not just some random guy. Support-wise, he's great, and he will hook you up. He'll find, the nice thing about Glen is if you need help trying to find somebody professional to help you with this, Glen would go out of his way to do that for you. That's how Glen is. And that's why I think it would be good to connect with Glen. Number one, he's only an hour away, and, he's braver than anybody I know. Either that or he's crazy, because most people don't want to be taken.
Yeah. I mean, I've tried having
really
people here. I've tried having people here or friends over, and they don't want to come back anymore. I don't know if you saw in the 8th sighting that I had, the guy pretty much froze up, and yeah, he doesn't come over much more since then. So.
Well, Glen has been here, and I'm the same way. Most of the stuff that happens with me only happens with people around, and I'm talking, movie producers and, producers for, one of the biggest news primetime program networks in the United States and stuff like that. And Glen's been here when stuff happens, and he gets excited. He doesn't run away. He gets excited.
I had things happen to me when I was at your place.
Yeah, and, that's how it is. But you just warn people ahead of time, say, look, I'm not going to be responsible. Things will happen. See stuff and, let them deal with it in their own minds. Things are a little different in the States, I think. Maybe not, I don't know. But Glen would really be a good connection to have. And if you want somebody professional to help you with this, we can help you find that.
Okay, I mean, I would like people to come out and kind of see if there's any kind of, I don't know, radiation. What kind of things, do you know what I mean, should they look for? I mean, what are typical things?
There's all kinds of tests they can do. They can do soil samples. They can do, tests with radiation, with Geiger counters. They can do EMF sweeps. They can do, electromagnetic, that's electromagnetic sweeps. They can do radiation sweeps. They can, do air samples. And depending on, I can get a hold of MUFON out there and see if I can get somebody that knows what the hell they're doing to help you with this. Because trying to do this alone, trust me, number one, you'll get obsessed with it, and then you'll start, that's all you can think about, and then you'll kind of forget about just living in general. And then if you're doing it by yourself, it'll exhaust you. And I'm just telling you from pure experience, you got to have help. You got to have a support team, or it's going to collapse in on you. And these things, whatever they are, they don't really have feelings, especially the gray bastards, whoever they are. They don't seem to have much emotion. They just, you know, and you got to understand there's good and bad out there, just like there's good and bad here. Is what they're doing good? Is what they're doing bad? You know, who knows? But I tell you, it's better if you have a support system, and it helps your case if somebody else, you know, collects evidence. And, you know, that's not going to be a problem finding somebody professional to do that. I mean, what do you want to happen? I mean, what would you like to see?
Yeah, that's the most important thing. What do you want, Alex?
I'd like to get great footage and then never see them again. If, you know, something compelling and good, but and then really, I mean, I'd like to move away because it's too much. It is too much.
Well, I'll tell you about the great footage. Martin and Glen has seen some of the footage I have, and you guys tell me if this isn't pretty decent stuff. But even the footage I have, which is very, very compelling, close-up stuff, people will still say, you know, hey, you either faked it or it's computer-generated. It will never be enough. There are people, even within my own family, I could take a little gray alien, walk them right up to them, and they'll say it's a kid in a costume.
Yeah.
So that's one of the things you're going to have to... You're going to have to...
Stan, one of the biggest skeptics, live under the same roof with Stan, so it's very hard for him to prove things.
Yeah, but if you
I
see...
can vouch for that.
But see, they experience stuff too. It's just the reason they're skeptic is because why are people such skeptics even when they're shown all this evidence? It's because of fear. So people, when they're afraid, are going to do anything to not be afraid, including be mean to you. So the best thing you can do is try everything you can to get the best evidence you can and have it documented by experts, and then, you know, go from there. And, you know, you need some support. We can help find people in your area. Glen, I'm sure, will love to help, and because it's in his own backyard. And, you know, we'll work with you as much as we can. There's a bunch of things you can do to help catch these things. If you can find a way to get a game cam, man, that, you know, those are great. They've captured all kinds of
They're
crazy stuff.
expensive either. They're about $89, and you know,
I don't know what would that be in Australian?
It's about the same.
In dollars wise, it's probably about the same, but everything's dear. I mean, it might be 150, 120 here, so I don't know.
Yeah.
People have suggested them, and then the only thing is, when the grass is really tall, it's constantly moving in the wind, and I just think the camera would be constantly going off at the grass, and so they
Put a stake in the ground. Put a stick in the ground and put it on the stick.
yeah. But I mean,
pound
like,
something in the ground so it doesn't move.
no, not
has a
it
laser
moving.
point.
Wouldn't it see the actual like the grass moving and take photos of it?
Well, that's true too, but you could put something in the way of the camera so it just focuses on not the grass moving, but that one thing. So if anything passes in between there, then it would catch it. So
Something that will oversee the grass, because those cameras have laser, and you can specifically point it to a certain direction, and whatever crosses that path will then snap a picture.
yeah, you don't have to focus on the grass. You can put a stick across the way. You know, so it focuses on the stick.
Yep. Yeah, I think where'd what's he go? I don't think he went.
Glenn, did you bail out? Damn it.
Yeah, I think he lost
No
internet.
connection.
Yeah, McDonald's internet's not that strong.
Well, Glenn's is even worse. He says that you have to pay by where we are in the United States, you pay monthly and you get unlimited internet. I guess Glen, you have to pay by you know, how many gigabytes you use, which is crazy.
Yeah, I do. I think
So,
he's at
but,
McDonald's.
you know, you know, if you need help, we'll find some way to, you know, get you help out there for sure.
Yep.
Because it's important, you know, it's important to find out if you're being messed with by, you know, some guys in costumes, or, you know, if this is real. And if it is real, it's important that everybody knows it's real, because it's part of getting the message out. It's part of trying to enlighten the human race to understand we're not alone. There's a lot of frightened people out there, and have these things ever physically hurt you?
Yeah, I mean, I've been punched or not. Maybe I didn't see it punch me. I mean, I've been hit in the back and knocked over. Obviously, when I was pulled through the grass, that wasn't smooth sliding there. So yeah, I mean, I've been hurt a bit from them. I mean, I've seen them. I've seen one down the back of my house here jump 5-6 meters, like forwards and down a hill, and no human could not just no human could do that without hurting themselves. They couldn't actually propel themselves from flat ground, just jump that far without a run up or So
I've seen that. We had something in the back of our yard. Look in my office window at a garden. I have a garden level office window. And it was late at night, and I thought I saw some little kid looking in my window, and I went outside, and I went with my twin stepdaughters and my wife. We all went outside, and there was this thing over by the corner of the fence there, and when I approached it, it cleared a 6-foot fence from a standing position like it wasn't even there.
Yeah, exactly. They just it's like, as I said, it's like they're on the moon, no gravity. For them, it's so easy for them to jump and move around here. The one I've seen is extremely quick. It'll go from one side of my of a decent yard, 100 meters, and like 3-4 seconds later it's over there. And and that's through the thick grass. So they seem.
Yeah, that's typical of what you hear.
Yeah.
But you have to understand too. There's multiple things out there, good and bad, with multiple agendas. This particular type, are they? I don't remember. Are they smaller? Are they taller? Obviously, they're gray, but.
On the majority of the time, they've been the smaller ones. They've been, as I said, I put some stick things out there of different levels of string, and it seemed to only knock around the ones that are around the 4 feet, as far as I can see. That's how tall they'd be. But once I've seen them, and they were huge. I would have said 7-8 feet tall.
That's where you saw the two of them, wasn't it?
The two of them, yeah, and they were taller than the grass at that stage, which was, as I said, that was probably They were probably 7-8 feet tall, but otherwise they've always been small.
Stan, have you ever seen any beings that tall?
Yes, I have. I've seen basically 4 different types of beings. I've seen the smaller grays, which is what he's talking about. Some of them aren't even gray; they're kind of taupe colored or just real pale. And then I've seen taller ones, and then I've seen the thing that kind of looks like a bug and what I call the possum people.
I haven't seen anything like that. But I know what you mean about the lighter coloured ones. Sometimes I've seen them and they've looked a lot darker. Sometimes they've looked a lot more pale. They do vary in tan, I guess. There's different darker ones and stuff. Yeah.
It's just like us, there's different versions of us. Some look different, some look darker. I'm sure it's the same with them, whatever they are. The question is, and there's. What, Glenn?
I was just going to say, Alex, our impression of what you've seen, and sorry if I missed anything, I had to restart the computer, it's died for a minute, but our impression of what you've seen is obviously through the footage you've taken, but how clearly have you seen them? I mean, you were like 10 feet away from a couple of them at one point. So how clear is your recollection? How clear is the image in your mind of these guys? Is it very, very clear?
On anything further than probably 20 meters away, and pretty much every single sighting, the camera footage is the best footage that I've got. It is a little bit better, but for me, obviously, once I upload it to YouTube, it does lose quality. Except for when I seen it out the back here, when I saw it jump that time, I saw it better than the camera did, and that's when I did the sketch of it. And otherwise, in the last sighting, when I had the lights blasted on it, I saw it better than the camera as well. But most of the time, the camera is what I see better. That's the thing. It's pretty far away, and it is pitch black.
I don't think I've seen the one with the lights on it.
That happened 3.5 weeks ago or something, and I got my mum to flick the new lights on that I bought, and they brightened it up, and the camera had to kind of go through the door and glass, I could see it pretty clear then, and it disappeared. It did. It turned around and ran out of frame in like a quarter of a second. So I mean, it just.
Alex,
yeah.
Can you tell us more about your bruise on your back?
Yep.
How did that happen?
That was when I was walking through the grass because I thought I was out the back of my house and I thought I saw it was a blue orb. It was I would have said a small car size, maybe a little bit smaller, and it was kind of on the top of the grass, looking like it was sitting on the grass. And so I walked out. I went up the driveway a little bit and decided to walk in the grass. And then after walking in, 10, 15 meters, I heard a few things moving around me. Then it went quiet all of a sudden, and next thing I was pushed over, hit in the back, and I just ran inside straight away. And then a big bruise came up. It was pretty big on my back. But it went away probably 5 days. So
it went away in 5 days.
Yeah, it went away quick, which was weird.
That, Stan? That's similar to your scars and
yeah,
things.
it doesn't take long. But and I forgot, I had a train of thought here. I got to remember what it is. So, what do your parents make of all this? What do they say about this?
Well, my mum, she's only actually seen it probably 1 or 2 times. Most of the time it's too late by the time I get her, or they seem to actually go by the time I get her. So that's why I think they're not interested in her at all. They disappear by the time she gets there, or if I call her. But she believes me after seeing my footage and everything. But she's in the same boat as me. She'd like me to film it and get good footage, but she doesn't want me running out there and getting too close. So
yeah, I understand totally.
When this thing.
One thing I remember.
Go ahead, Stan.
Go ahead. Well, I was going to say one thing I remember is just how different they move than normal humans. And, amazingly, my first abduction experience weren't really the gray things, but it was something a little bit different, but almost the same. But how muscular they are, even though they look fairly... the neck on this thing was so thin, I was wondering how it kept its head up.
Yep. Yeah, exactly.
But when I grabbed one to throw him off the balcony, it was extremely muscular. So I understand what you're talking about, how they move so quickly. It's pretty bizarre.
When I drew the sketch one, the one that I saw pretty close, and yeah, you could see the muscles on it, as in, yeah, they're not very thick or solid, but they're very, they're all muscle. What is there? As compared to the 2 big ones I saw. On the other hand, they were like sticks. They were not muscular at all. They were really thin. Because they were a lot bigger, but they definitely didn't have the muscle tone of the small ones. So.
And the bugs, what I call the bugs, are like that. They're very, very, very skinny and very almost look like they defy gravity. That's the only way I can define it. I don't see how they can keep their appendages moving the way they do.
Have you got any of that of them on film or anything? The bug ones?
I've got a lot of stuff. A lot of surveillance cameras that the scientists have set up have captured stuff. They've captured stuff. I've captured, taken pictures, during parties we've had here, and all of a sudden you light it up and they're in the background hiding in the bushes. We actually chased one in our yard during a 4th of July party here, during a Independence Day party here in 2007, and there were multiple witnesses. In fact, it looked in our sliding glass door right at us while we were eating, at the table. And so then when we look back at the pictures, there's a picture of some friends of ours, a couple, and I was taking a picture of him, and you lighten it up, and he's over hiding in the bushes. You can see him in the bushes.
Yep.
I saw that picture. That's very bizarre.
Well, and then I've got video, and, Glen and Martin, I'll tell you about the video, the other video I have.
Oh, yeah.
Stan, you mentioned in your book that you're not sure if it was real them or was it something that was staged.
Well, there's always that, possibility, but, especially with the thing was it staged? I don't think so. You know, I talk about that in my book because that's always a possibility, and I want people to understand that I'm still a skeptic deep down inside. Some of the stuff that happens is just even too hard for me to explain. But when you look back at all the things that have happened and all the things we know now, you know, it's like, no, I mean, this stuff is real.
Alex,
You know, it's just how you.
what do you think
How do you
about
capture
all of this? What's happening to you? What is your explanation? What do you think about this? What's your impression about this whole thing?
I have no answers for anything. It's just questionable. I can't, you know, I can't communicate with them. I haven't talked to them or heard anything. You know, people say you can talk. You know, you'll hear them in your mind type of thing. I haven't had any of that kind of experiences. I have absolutely no idea what's happening and why. So it's completely just a big question for me.
Do you think they're trying to hurt you?
What?
Do you think they're trying to hurt you?
No. Only when I've come close has anything happened, and that was only because I came real close to them. Otherwise, no, nothing has come out of its way to hurt me.
But there was one instance where you were pulled into the grass.
Yep.
I've seen the video. Can you talk more about that?
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, that was again because I walked down there. I was getting quite close to them. I was probably only 2-3 meters away from where I'd just seen it. You know, 10-20 seconds earlier, and I was standing there, and then I looked down, and I thought something was touching me, and then I looked down, there was nothing there. I looked back up, I looked to the left, and next thing I'm just sliding through the grass, and it was like I was just smoothly sliding through the grass. I mean, there was no force pulling me. It was like I was just sliding on a slippery slide sort of thing. Just calmly sliding through the grass, and I had no control. I tried grabbing onto bits of grass or whatever, and that didn't help at all. I got in there, I got up, and I saw it come towards me, and I kind of swiped, and I didn't hit it, and it must have grabbed my shirt. It's up somehow, and I run out with my shirt ripped open. I kind of ran away, and I saw the house lights and ran directly for that. But
Do you still have that shirt?
Hey, yeah, I've still got the shirt. Yeah. I've kept.
See, Stan, you're onto something. You have a good point. It almost seems like they're trying to get into something else than directly to Alex.
Yeah, they're looking at something. They're experimenting with something. There might be an interdimensional something there. You know, possibilities are endless. The question is, what is it that they're interested in? So, the best thing to do is, you know, get people to help you set up grids, set up ways to figure out what's going on, set up, you know, some kind of detections. There's all kinds of things that, you know, you get the right people, they'd set it up for you, and maybe you could even catch one. Maybe they can communicate with you. Maybe you can, I know people that can set up lights, you know, a bunch of lights in a row that will communicate through binary code. You know,
Right.
There's
Yeah.
all kinds of ways to do this, and the question is, you know, if you're going to do this, you know, is your mom thinking about moving ever? Have you talked to her about that?
Well, you know, we're renting here, so
Gotcha.
we can be kicked out, or we might move at any time, you know. But it gives us more freedom to move if something happens and we want to get out quick, at least. Rather than
Be interesting thing to find out if after you move, if it continues
Happens,
somewhere else. Because
Well,
that would be a test in and of itself, because if it happens somewhere else, that means they're following you. If it doesn't, that means there's something in the area they're interested in.
Yeah. I'm quite close to Mount Warning. I've heard things about that, and there's another one around here, another spot which is supposedly a hot spot as far as there's been a lot of sightings out there, but I can't think of the name right now. But it's not too far away from here as well.
You know, there's... Go ahead.
I have a suggestion for you, and this is born out of a couple of things that I've seen and heard and read. a lot of us underestimate the power of intention, and I had this really interesting conversation with Kim Carlsberg in Sedona last week, and she was abducted like 100 something times from when she was 5 years old, and it got to a point where she said they were ruining my reproductive system because I was taking eggs so much, and it just got crazy. And she said, I literally, in the end, I willed them to stop. She said, I made it so clear that they actually stopped. And she said, what's interesting is that lately she's decided that she wants contact again, and she started to put it out there, like with her intention, with her mind, to say, I want to be in contact, but not, I don't want to be, what's the word, not in I think she said, I want a respectful, upfront contact, and she started having experiences again in the last month. And so I just wanted to give you that as a way of saying, if you approach the experience from a perspective of powerlessness, then what you'll get back is powerlessness. But if you're absolutely crystal clear in your mind as to what you want, that may have an effect. And I'm quite open to Stan and Martin giving their thoughts on that too, whether you think that's valid.
I do, and I'll tell you why it's valid, because I've experienced it myself. These beings, whoever they are, what I've encountered, communicate differently than you or I. They don't communicate through speech linearly, which means they don't say word after word. It's kind of okay. They really do have an extrasensory ability to communicate. Humans actually do too. It's just we don't have it cultivated. We're kind of beginners at it. But these beings, I am absolutely positive they know what you're thinking. They know what you're going to do. So next time you see one, make it clear in your head. Say, look, I'm interested in taking pictures of you. Please would you let me take a picture of you? But let it be clear and say, I will meet you halfway or something, I will go out into the yard past the deck if you come out of the bushes and let me take a picture of you. Yep. And please don't make it scary. Put that in your mind. Give them something to work with and see if it actually happens, because then if they're willing to communicate, if they care, if they don't care, if they're benevolent, if they're not, that'll say a lot about what's going on.
Okay. Yeah, I got you.
So, and there's 100 possibilities why these things are here. And, maybe we'll never know because, let's face it, they're alien. We don't think like they do. Maybe they think a rock, this one rock, is the most amazing thing they ever saw, and they have to come show all their friends because they don't have something like that where they come from. Maybe it could be something as mundane as that. A lot of times what will happen in our house is all our TV remotes will disappear for weeks on end. We wake up one morning and they're nicely lined up on our kitchen countertop for no reason.
Alex, have you had any other activity, like Stan has experienced, people's high strangeness, like things out of order in your house, or lots of time, or things disappearing, or things moving on their own?
Flashes of lights, anything like that.
Really, only light things I've had. As I said, different types of light. Like the complete blackouts or brownouts or things like that. It was weird when I went down there and I found the big battery, the car battery, because that was probably a 20-25 kilo battery, and it was just placed in the middle of some rocks down the hill. And how did that get down there? It wasn't my car battery, so it wasn't taken from my house or anything. But otherwise, I haven't felt missing time or anything.
Blue orbs, you've seen the blue orbs?
That was a while ago, but it was very dim. On film, I'd get hardly caught it on film. You can kind of see it, but it was really dim. But it was pretty much floating there, and that's what I went outside. I just wanted to try and get closer to that, but it wasn't there when I went out there.
Alex, 2 quick questions.
Now, do you have...
Can I just have 2 quick questions? One is, And this is the obvious question, and while I was off, someone may have asked it, Alex, but is there any doubt in your, well, let me put it the other way, is there any chance, do you have any part of your mind is thinking maybe someone's pranking me? Is that a possibility, or have you seen too much too clearly for that to be impossible?
Too much. Just physical things, as I said, like the jumping and just ones like that, and I've just thought, no, there's no way that could be someone. And just the speed as well. No one can run that fast and move through that thick grass.
Cool. And my other question is, when... Yeah, that was amazing when you recorded that and you can hear them going through the grass. That was incredible. My other question is, when was your last sighting?
I think that was 3 weeks ago, or 3.5 weeks ago. And that was again, that was what I bought. I had a new light set up on the deck, so I got my mum to, she ran down and turned them on, and I only got a second and a half of footage, but you can see it just goes, it turns around and runs, and even if you frame by frame it, you can only get it like twice and move down the frame.
That's the HD footage of the little guy.
Yeah,
and then you went down the next day and you showed us how there was a dip there and everything, and how that's why you could only see its head.
Yep. It was slightly, it was down the hill. Yeah, that was the last footage that I
that was
do you use regular light or do you use infrared?
Both. At first I was using nothing, just the standard camera, and then I bought some LED normal lights. They helped a little bit, but not enough. I bought some infrared ones. They were better, but now I bought some proper big spotlights, and they're so much better. With the spotlights, I can pretty much record it without night vision now at night. So
are they infrared spotlights or regular spotlights?
They're normal spotlights. I don't know where to get infrared spotlights.
One of the theories is these things might be subterranean. These greys where they live is subterranean. That's why their eyes are black like there, because they see better at night. So spotlights might freak them out, scare them off. You might want to consider getting infrared spotlights in an infrared camera, because maybe they can't see in that spectrum. It's speculation, but some of the amazing things that I've captured have been with infrared. That thing in the window that popped up is infrared, and I think if I would have had a regular spotlight there, it wouldn't have showed up.
Yep. I mean, my camera is obviously night vision. I guess that's infrared. It records in.
Yeah. But all you need is big infrared spotlights to do the same thing as, if you had regular spotlights on, just turn your camera on infrared, it'll do the same thing. It'll pick up the infrared though.
Yep. I don't know, where can you get them? I don't know. How much are they as well? I mean...
Oh, geez, there's all kinds of places. I mean, I'm sure Glen, I'll look to see if I can... You can order that stuff online.
Yeah, I can do a bit of research for you and see what's in Brisbane, too.
Yeah, they're actually fairly easy to get. They're little, these little LED lights in a panel, and man, they're really bright. They'll light up the thing for miles.
Yep.
Ghost hunters use them.
Yeah.
The motion capture, the motion activated camera sounds like a very good idea too.
Yep.
Yeah. Now, what were you saying?
I'm surprised that nobody ever went to his place to investigate, even if it's the Black Ops, anybody.
Oh, I'm sure there's something else going on we don't know about.
I mean, I've seen helicopters. So, I've tried filming them. One night, actually, I didn't get it on film. I was screwing around trying to get the phone. It was already turned off, and a helicopter came up, because you come up the valley, and I'm kind of the, dead as you come up the valley. I'm the house there. And a helicopter came all the way up the valley and pretty much hovered 100 meters above the house, shining its light throughout the grass and then in through the windows. And
really?
Yeah, I know for a fact. I mean, no normal helicopter, I don't care whether it's a whatever, I don't know if they're even legally allowed to just shine their lights throughout inside people's houses and stuff. So, even if it was just, privately owned.
They do here all the time.
Yeah. Because, I mean, I don't know if...
They do use them.
Here all the time.
Yep. Because I mean, I don't know if privately owned helicopters.
See, and
Yeah, you can get
that's
them
the
from.
thing. That's why you need people that know what they're doing out there to kind of help, to kind of, at least get some. And there's people that can set up surveillance cameras that nobody will ever even know they're there. That'll capture all kinds of stuff, and that's what happened. That's what's happened with me. Luckily, that these scientists came forward and helped me out, and that's where I got my best evidence. So, and supposedly there's some underground, and this is speculation, I don't know for sure, but some of the UFO guys that I know say there's some underground, bases in that area. Where's Pine Gap, Glen? Is that far away?
Never heard of it.
Yeah, that's like the middle of the country, right in the middle of Australia.
Yeah, I haven't heard of it.
It's like 4 hours or 5 hours flight from here. Something
Yeah. Okay, so that wouldn't work. But there's all kinds of stuff out there in Australia that I hear about all the time.
Yep.
So it would be a good idea. I think you and Glen need to connect, because Glen can, he knows, he can get stuff done. He really is a good guy too. And if you ever need support or get freaked out, he's the guy to go to. You can trust him implicitly.
Thanks, Dan. Alex, my business partner lives at Currumbin, and I can stay there anytime. I also have two of my best friends, husband and wife, did live at Balambal for about 6 years, and they just moved to South Tweed. But I can stay at either of those places, and you just let me know anything I can do. Like if you rang me up and said, "Get here now," I'd drive down there. If there was something going on. I know that it probably happens too fast for that, but I just really want you to feel supported, because I'm a giving sort of a person, and I want contact more than anything else in my life at the moment.
Yep.
So if I can, and I'm pretty emotionally prepared for this stuff, so I'm someone that can be an ally for you, and if I can, any sort of support I can give, because I'm like a kid in a toy shop with this stuff. Like, if I'd been in the grass and they pulled me, I probably would have let them pull me. Stan thinks I'm a nutcase for that.
You think so?
Glen, you're not.
Stan, how scared was Glenn when he was at your place?
He was more kind of excited than he was scared, and he was, he knew. We saw a huge. Me and Glen, I think you were the first one to see that huge horseshoe-shaped UFO off in the distance, right?
Yeah.
And he pointed it out to me kind of nonchalantly. It's like, oh, that's awesome. Some people can handle it better. Some people are more enlightened than others. Some people freak out and think it's the devil. They don't understand it's more complicated than just that simple. So
Hey, Alex. Sorry, Stan, to interrupt. I just thought it might be useful for me to share what actually got me on the plane to America. I was at Woodford Folk Festival last year. You probably don't know that, Martin, but Alex, do you know the Woodford Folk Festival?
No.
So, are you there? It's the biggest music festival in the Southern Hemisphere. It's just west of Caboolture. And on New Year's Eve, I got up there. We run a massage store there every year, and on New Year's Eve, I finished partying and I went up on the hill to have a sleep. And these three random girls came and joined me because I had a big tarp, and I was just going to have a sleep. And I'm just lying there in my sleeping bag. Yeah, I know. And these girls came. They said, "Oh," I said, "Come share my tarp because the grass is really wet." And they went, "Yeah, that'd be great." And they came over, and one girl said, "We're just looking at the stars." And one of the girls said, "Is that a UFO?" And we looked up, and I said, "No, that's just a satellite." And I've been reading non-stop. I've just finished 2 of Stan's books. And I'm thinking to myself, yeah, you think that's a UFO. I said, "No, that's a satellite. You can tell because it's just meandering across the sky very slowly. You can see it glinting on the side where the sun's going to come up, blah, 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 blah." No sooner did I say that than something about 300 feet across flew straight over our heads. And it was 2 big yellow lights, had 2 big with an orange band between them, and it's rotating as it flies through the sky, doing about at least 1,500 miles an hour, completely silent, only about 500 feet above our heads. And I couldn't speak. I was like, oh, because it was like, this is a dream come true. You know? And the girl next to me said, what the fuck was that? And the other girl freaked out and said that she'd going, it was nothing, it was just birds. That's all it is, just birds. And so they were talking amongst themselves all very upset. And because they were upset, I decided I wouldn't mention it when the second one came across about 30 seconds later.
Huh.
About 10 degrees to the left, but exactly the same. And I just went, oh, okay, I give up. And I got back to Brisbane, I looked up conferences and found the Phoenix conference and went, I'm going. That's it. So, I was just, once that happened, and I said to Sam recently, in terms of this, ESP and telepathy and stuff, I'm now convinced that because these guys are telepathic, that they knew I was reading Sam's book, they were picking up on the vibes, and they were giving me a nudge to get over to America, and because, the chances of seeing something that big is very rare, but to see two of them,
And you said it was silent.
that was ridiculous, So just on that, got me totally on my right, to connect with Stan and Lisa and Ken and et cetera. So there's a lot happening. This is such an exciting time to be alive, And I think it's, you can think of yourself, Alex, as, in one way, if you want to, you can think of yourself as privileged. I know it's freaky, but, just be strong, be powerful in the presence of these guys. Don't be a shy wallflower. Like, okay, I'm in control here, and not in control, but I'm willing to make this happen the way I want it to happen. Sorry, I'll get off my soapbox now.
You guys must say Alex is very brave.
Yeah, absolutely. Bloody hell.
To manage to film this on his own. Remember, Stan, you said you were shaking like a leaf the first time you caught it on the video.
Yeah, when I saw it running away and it looked back at me and it looked right at me and noticed me, it's like, what the hell was that? Of course I'm going to be freaked out. So the best way to deal with it is make fun of it, laugh at it, joke around with it, because that's what will help you get through it.
I swear.
Especially, and I've got a funny feeling if this is really happening and this is really happening to you, it either is going to go away because they're just interested in the area, or they're interested in you. And if they're interested in you, this is just the tip of the iceberg.
I tend to swear at it. I don't know. I just start swearing as soon as I see it. I've tried lately. I've been trying to, when I've tried to keep it down and shut up, but I can't help it. I just start swearing at it.
That's how I am too. Ask Glen and Martin, the thing I videotaped that's not out on the internet, but the thing I videotaped, I'm going, What the fuck is that? Holy shit, what the fuck's it doing? And I'm completely wigging out, trying to grasp what I'm experiencing here. And whatever this thing was didn't move suddenly. It looked like it didn't want to freak me out. It slowly moved away, not to make any sudden moves. It was pretty intense, and then there were 2 flashes of light, and I woke up on the ground 45 minutes later wondering what the hell happened.
Alex, do you have any experience with loss of time, or you think you've been abducted?
No, he said he hasn't.
No, I don't think so, no. Not loss of time. I don't know about it being abducted. I have no idea. I've woke up, I've had little bumps come up on, actually my right arm, I had a few little bumps come up. But they went away after a week or something like that. Whether or not people were saying, that something's been in your arm. They were just 2 little tiny dots. What was that?
Did you say bumps?
Yeah.
Did you say came up?
Yeah, just tiny little dots. They would have been, no, not pinheads. You know, just tiny little dots that came up. I filmed it. I did a video on it just to show them, and they're just two little dots, and they just came up and they went away. But you know, they were there one morning, so yeah, I don't know whether that was a needle, you know, that type of thing. I don't know. I can't remember anything like that.
Well, I really do think you and Glen should at least touch bases once, you know, and talk. And
Glen, can you turn on your video camera?
it is on. I'm watching him.
Oh, I can't see him.
No, I can't see it.
I can't see myself.
I see you, Martin. I see Alex. I don't see Glen. Glen is not.
Yeah, I don't see that.
Yeah, my camera won't turn on for some reason, so...
Did you hear about that massive virus that's hitting all the Apple computers now?
Massive what?
Hundreds of thousands of people have been hit by this Apple virus. You have an Apple?
Can't hear, because I think Glen's thing's going nuts.
Alex, when I got your email back, I got that you were a little reticent and that there's probably a lot of hang-ups on. I don't want to sort of impose myself on you, but my support is there. I mean, Bruce is about an hour away anyway, but you just let me know whatever you want to do. I'm happy to come down, check out the place. Well, you know, let's just meet. Let's just, you know, get together and say hi.
Okay. I mean, people have said. I mean, if I was to call you up and call you down on a night, I would go. Pretty much guaranteed to be a waste of time because they only ever seem to come and be there for 5-10 minutes and that's it. They're gone again, and then it's 2-3 weeks, a month later before I see them again. It's definitely not.
Right. That's no way saying anything.
Yeah, but you don't necessarily have to call them just to come down and see the EPs in the grass. You guys can talk about how to set things up, how to, maybe get the help you need, how to get, the surveillance stuff that the people to help you with the surveillance stuff. Glen is he's a good guy, number one, but he's a good source to be able to connect to, because he really, Glen just gets stuff done. He's that type of person. If you have any questions, he's the person to talk to, and if he doesn't know the answer, he will find it for you.
Yeah, I mean, it's good to have it.
My PR manager, by the way.
So, and he's in your area too, so that makes it nice. So that's why I wanted you guys to connect. I'm going to have to go here pretty soon because Lisa's going to be doing a radio show, so I don't want to miss it. But seriously, keep in touch. We'll really keep in touch with Glen for sure because we can try to get you some extra help out there.
I mean, I got you on Skype now, so that's good.
I'll have a look at cameras. I'll have a look at cameras, like motion-activated cameras and lights and things. And my suggestion would be, Alex, if you want, just to invite me down one evening, just to come see the place, see the territory, if you like, and we could just have a chat for an hour and then just stay in touch.
Yep.
Up to you, but yes, my support is there.
Okay.
I'm here to support you guys too. If Alex is willing to, have me interview him, there's a chance I can have the story published overseas, and that's gonna draw some attention. Hopefully, support too. I've written a story about.
And I'm here to say that you guys are a bunch of nuts that believe in UFOs, and I'm just kidding. I'm the poster boy for weird and unusual. But yeah, I mean, seriously, keep in contact, and we'll try to help as much as we can.
Okay. I mean, yeah, I will. I'll definitely contact you again on Skype at least and emails and stuff. And we can discuss things. If I ever get anything else on film again, I can talk to you. I don't mind. Whatever. I don't mind.
Try to stay away from the crazies and try to stay away from. Be a little bit wary of people that just suddenly show up, because there's a lot of, we have to deal. Martin will tell you sometimes black ops, sometimes government people will come in and they'll do crazy stuff. Unfortunately, Martin came to a party we had, and they harassed the crap out of poor Martin. And, they were kind of mean to him. So just be wary, keep your eyes open, don't trust everybody you come in contact with.
Yeah, well, people got at me for going on third phase of Moon. People, maybe you've heard of him, and people said I shouldn't have done that.
Yeah, don't trust those guys. They fake everything.
Yeah.
They're all about money. And they have a lot of hits on YouTube. They make a lot of money off advertising, but none of their stuff is genuine, trust me. I look into that.
Yep.
Okay.
All right. Well, I got to get going, guys. Well, it was nice talking to you, nice meeting you. Keep in touch for sure.